Hello and welcome back to another episode of Football Talk, the football podcast. And you have myself, Dave, and still ever present on the podcast, Josh. Are you there?
I'm here, loud and clear. Hello, David.
Hello, Joshua. You haven't called me David in a very long time.
No, I'm not sure I ever have, actually.
Yeah, probably not, no.
I was about to say, have you been a naughty boy? And that would have sounded weird, and now it still sounds weird.
It sounds weird, but I will put that. I will say, if I've been a naughty boy, it's David James. It's not just David. I get middle named if I'm naughty.
You get naming of the former England keeper. You called him, David James.
Who was in Singapore not too long ago with Wes Brown for the Man United Liverpool game. They were hosting.
Is that the only place they could find to watch it?
Yeah. They were in for some, some sports channel flew them over or something to host some fan event for Man United v Liverpool, and the two players they picked were Wes Brown and David James. So it shows the grasp that Singapore has on getting in superstars.
David James. I think Wes Brown actually turn out for the Star Sixes. Have you heard of the Star Sixes?
I've heard of it.
It used to be Masters football on Sky, but it's similar to that. And David James is, small goals, and David James was kind of reasonably good unless you had to make kind of long decisions around coming for a ball. So he's fantastic in that. Shot stopping is amazing. So yeah, he turns out for that, and I think England normally do all right.
Oh, cool. Good bit of facts, that, Josh. Good bit of facts. Talking of facts, you've got a bit of a big one involving football.
Bit of a big one.
You've got a bit of a big fact and something to tell the listeners, so take it away.
I have. So you could have found us on SoundCloud, you could have found us on YouTube, you could also follow us on Twitter, but you can now listen to us on the world-renowned, famous music streaming application, Spotify. We're on Spotify, people.
Yeah.
Listen to us on Spotify. Yes. And I must say, thank you, Spotify. Really, really helpful getting us on there. iTunes, you're an absolute slog. So maybe in the future we'll be on iTunes, but for now, Spotify. So to find us, we're under Football Talk, but you may find it beneficial to search Michael Ballsack, just to really narrow down those. We've not gone for the most unique of podcast names. Just get some ball sacks into your search history. That will help. Yeah, it might turn up some good songs as well. I don't know if there's any songs around ball sack.
You never know. But yeah, so that is a great bit of news for the podcast. I say we're really enjoying doing it. We are growing. We're getting more and more listeners pretty much every week, which is great. So Josh has gone out and done some research into how to get us onto popular platforms and stuff to extend our reach in the world of football podcasts, which is great. So yeah, Spotify, we're here to dominate Spotify as well as have we dominated?
We've got the
YouTube?
same colour scheme.
We have
dominated. We've made them popular.
Yeah,
no one was watching videos for that.
Exactly. So anyway, that's enough about our news. Let's crack on with football news, because it's a football podcast. Unless you've got any recipes or chat about food that you want to bring up, like we have done recently. Coriander, coriander?
Can do. No, I haven't had any coriander. I haven't had many herbs this week, actually. It's been a bit of a herb light week. I cooked a burger last night, brioche bun with some melted mozzarella on top. Mozzarella's not the most flaky, though. It needed a bit more of a sharp cheddar or something like that. A bit more. Obviously the flat, plastic cheese is what you go for on a burger. So I'll.
Have you ever made a burger with cheese in the middle? Have you ever made burger
Juicy
with
Lucy? Of course I have.
Is that what it's called? Juicy Lucy?
Juicy Lucy, yeah. Top tip: use a baby bell.
Yeah, whole baby bell. That's exactly what I was about to say. Whole baby bell.
Take the
take the wax off.
Take the wax off.
and the plastic outer wrapping, unless you're really dangerous. But cheese of choice. What, in a burger or on top of a burger?
So on top of a burger, otherwise it is like kind of molten lava. On top of the burger is literally, if I was making it at home, it would be the Dairy plastic packaging, because that is, I'm not a fan of blue cheese or brie on burgers as such, but yeah.
I could, but I'm a if it's a proper, if I want a proper burger, I don't want a fancy burger, then American plastic cheese all the way.
What's the burger kind of situation in Singapore? Is it?
They love them. They do really
Do
good
they?
burgers, and they absolutely love them. Yeah, they cook really because like Wagyu beef's quite cheap over here, or cheaper than the UK.
Oh, right.
So you get proper good burgers. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Nice.
Ooh.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll leave that
football talk
state of arousal for Dave, and we'll move on to the midweek football.
Yeah.
I would say it's very to research for a podcast and absorb football when your team's doing piss poor. And so we'll start with Tottenham. Chelsea Tottenham. Kieran Trippier is having, from what was a fantastic World Cup, because basically we played 2 right backs and he had his defensive cover in Kyle Walker, and he was just allowed to kind of put balls in. He's now just been shown up for the kind of fraud he is. He's just really isn't a top level fullback. And it all culminated, in case you haven't seen it, at the end, it must have been like the 80th minute of the Chelsea-Spurs match. We're 1-0 down, chasing a goal. I mean, chasing is the operative word because we didn't have a single shot on target in the whole match, so we weren't really chasing too hard. Kieran Trippier, the ball over the top, the player's chasing him down. He looks around. Evidently doesn't ever look at Hugo Lloris and slots it past Hugo Lloris, who kind of comes for the ball, and he just caught him past him.
If I was a Tottenham defender, I would just always assume that Hugo Lloris is like 10 yards off his line, because that's where he generally is. He is generally
true. He has. I think ever since his
keeper, so.
Yeah, well, I think he's curbed it a little bit after he's made a few mistakes, because we'll touch on it in the reviews of this week's football. That could he have come off his line for Aaron Ramsey's goal? But he kind of didn't get there in time, was caught in no man's land, so Trippier put it past him, and that's before that Lloris had been, done his near post from Pedro after Alderweireld had been turned easily. It was just a horrible game. I could have turned it off from like the 60th, 50th minute going, this isn't going to change, we're not coming back into this. It was so toothless.
Wow, it's made the top 4 very exciting, that one fixture. So
yeah.
That midweek football has made the top 4 quite exciting. Yeah, to be honest.
Yeah, so. And then the other side of it, I'm focusing on other elements of the top 4. Liverpool played Watford, and I just want to shout out to Sadio Mane's back heel goal.
Yeah, very nice.
Yeah, and so, what struck me was how it's almost the 2 polar opposites of touches. His first touch, abysmal, took him 2 yards away from goal, and his second touch, absolutely absurdly good, chipping the keeper with a back heel. It's just, that was fantastic. But Liverpool love playing Watford, don't they? It was just,
they do.
The last 3-4 games have been goals galore.
Yeah, and I remember this being billed as a sort of, this could be a slip, a slip up for Liverpool, because Watford have been playing really well. But you look at
they just got that 5-1 of
Cardiff, wasn't it? They smashed 5-1. Yeah, and it was, but you look at the history of it, and I mean, Van Dijk showing he can be good in the other box as well with 2 goals, and Divock Origi scored, and I thought he had just disappeared. I didn't think he was anywhere near the first team. I guess with Firmino being injured, but
yeah, because he scored in the as it is today is the Derby day. He scored in the Derby when Pickford spooned it up in the air, didn't he?
He scored the winner.
But, I'm pretty sure they don't want him near the side, but needs must.
True. And then I guess from 5 goals at home to another 5 goals at home, Arsenal beating Bournemouth 5-1. Ozil trying to show Emery that he's good, or it's a very poor Bournemouth team, and
it's a very poor. And then because he gets dropped for the London Derby, so that was real showing. If was Emery going to trust him? No, he wasn't.
No.
But Bournemouth really do know how to lose a game, don't they? They really they've conceded more goals. At that point in time, they'd conceded more goals than Huddersfield. Only Cardiff and Fulham had conceded more than them.
Wow.
It's just awful.
That's abysmal. Yeah, that is really
woeful.
bad.
I mean, they've had some injuries, but more in the attacking side of things. Like Callum Wilson's been out, and Steve Cook had been out for a bit. But really, it's not good enough. And I mean, if we ignored the first 10 games of the season, where they got 6 wins in the first 10 games, if they following 18, I think they've got 4 wins. So they are fulfilling my surprise package in the latter 2/3 of the season so far. But Yeah, it was a busy midweek fixture list, wasn't it? And,
It was.
Yeah,
Just
as
to
you
touch
said,
on,
the top four is.
it's getting very close, and obviously Man United beating Crystal Palace helped that out. So
Yeah, that was that again seemed like a bit of a potential banana skin, but they coped well with that.
yeah, it was good for us. Lukaku doing well. I mean, both of his goals. He's right-footed. I swear he's now right-footed. Lukaku. We'll get onto it obviously in this week's games as well. But yeah, lovely finish with his right foot, and then he used his muscle to outmuscle the defender and let it go over his head and finished it left-footed. But yeah, I mean, it could have been a banana skin, but it has really opened up fourth place, and that is wonderful stuff. Wonderful. Is there anything else you wanted to touch on for the midweek games?
No, I think we all know what's happened there. But I wanted to move on to link to our poll. Last week we set up a poll last week. Who will be the next manager to be sacked? Claude Puel, Marco Silva, Claudio Ranieri, and Maurizio Sarri. So Puel was 50% of the vote, and Ranieri were 9% of the vote, so 59% of the vote. And since we did that, they've both been sacked. Both gone.
One of them went on the day. It was incredible.
One of them went mere minutes after we finished recording. I was like, oh, well, at least we talked about it. So we'll start with the less dramatic of the two, I suppose, the Ranieri one, because he'd done nothing. So, I mean, Ranieri out.
Did you hear the statement from Shahid Khan, the owner, when he was like, he's we had to get rid of Jokanovic because he had got something like three points from 9 games or something, and then we got in Claudio. We thought it was a win-win situation, like no lose situation. He's going to come in and rejuvenate. At least he did slightly better. He got 8 points from 9 games or something. It was like a real backhanded compliment sort of thing as they fire him.
Well, so under the ownership of Khan's, Fulham has spent one whole season and then will be 2 whole seasons in the Premier League. Do you know how many managers they've gone through in that time?
6.
Yes, they've had 6 managers in 68 games so far.
That's incredible, isn't it?
It's like 11 games a manager gets. So in 13, he started with Martin Jol, sacked. Rennie Mullenstein came in, and then Felix Magath finished it off emphatically.
With his
massive cheese. Started this one. Yeah, that will heal the injuries. For Breda Hangeland's loving that. Wonder if he likes cheese in his burger. We started Jokanovic, Ranieri, and now Parker. And the lovely fact I like this is that you know that Jokanovic was Ranieri's first signing as Chelsea manager.
Yes, yeah.
Do you know who his last signing as Chelsea manager was?
No. Scott Parker. Oh wow! Yeah, incredible.
Yeah, how lovely is that?
That is incredible. Yeah, that is what a good bookend.
Yes,
a couple of bookends. So.
But I mean, Fulham have nothing to lose. Parker has nothing to lose. It seems like the only way, like young up and coming managers get a job in the top flight is the relegation threatened side or resigned to relegation side. Just appoint them as a kind of no one else wants this job, do they?
No, I know.
So he'll then get sacked about 5-6 games into next year when he's doing rubbish. So enjoy the next kind of few months.
Enjoy the paycheck.
Yeah.
So I mean,
just
have you ever?
A bit of a,
sorry, go on.
No, just a bit of a shout out to kind of the crazy career of Claudio Ranieri. It's quite mental, his career. So I think he's had around 13 last 20 years.
Wow.
2 of those managerial stints were for less games than he's managed Fulham for.
Oh my word! Who are they
with? Greece and Parma.
Wow.
And I was having a look, and so he's only ever won one top flight league, and that was with Leicester. He's won Serie C with Cagliari, Serie B with Fiorentina, and Ligue 2 with Monaco. It surprised me that he's managed so often in the lower leagues. He seems like a top level manager, doesn't he?
He does. You seem to think of him as because he won the title with Leicester. You think he's got this pedigree that he's won lots of good titles elsewhere. But yeah, well, obviously not. Yeah, so. Interesting. I mean, looking at the table, I know I'm looking at it now and Fulham have played again, but have you ever been at a point, can you remember a time where with roughly 10 games to go in the league, you've had 2 clubs that are so far adrift of safety? Can you remember?
What are you saying? It's quite often won. Do you mean?
Yeah, I mean, you normally just get the team in 20th that are written off, like at this sort of point, like the Huddersfield are. But Huddersfield and Fulham are both 10 or more points away from safety, which is incredible. I can't remember a season that had two teams that were so clearly going to get relegated with 10 games to go.
And it's so damning for Fulham after they're the first promoted side to spend 100 million. It just shows if you have defenders who aren't even championship level, you can't cope with them in the Premier League. So
yeah, true.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's that one. And so then Claude Puel, and I think we spoke about it last week, but my choice was Brendan Rodgers in. But I hypothesised that maybe there'll be a caretaker point, and that's what really surprised me so far is that what's going through Brendan Rodgers' head. Why does he leave Celtic? Would you have done it?
I think so, yeah. I think so. He's won. He doesn't gain anything from staying at Celtic till the end of the season and winning another treble because everyone's like, wait, Celtic. What? It doesn't matter.
Well, he does, doesn't he? He gets more silverware and he doesn't get the... I mean, did you see the fans banner? They said, you traded immortality for mediocrity, never a Celt, always a fraud, which is absolutely ridiculously hard.
Yeah.
When it had an unbeaten season and won the double treble, but
he gets nothing out of it. Leicester aren't going to get relegated this season. They're probably not going to get into Europe. So he might as well have, rather than having just the summer, he can now have 6 months to actually see 10 games or whatever, not 6 months, 10 games to figure out if and what Leicester players can actually play the way he wants and who he wants to keep and who he wants to get rid of, and then have a summer window to back up his ideas rather than just bringing him in the summer. I would have done it if I was Brendan Rodgers. I honestly don't see what staying at Celtic would have achieved him. Yeah, he gets more trophies and he gets a bonus and things like that, but he's done the double treble.
I would have stayed. I think it's the decent thing to do because to contrary your point, it's like, well, what does he lose from staying there? He's going to win silverware. Leicester aren't going to get relegated, so he's not going to have a different job in his hands. They're probably not going to get into Europe, so he's not going to have a different job in his hands there. So he's just it's the same situation. He can also then, I mean, he might have been doing, say he'd signed something to leave Celtic, and he could kind of he could speak to some scouts or some of the staff at Leicester to get kind of more thorough, in-depth knowledge of the players. He can still achieve what he can achieve at Celtic.
He's going to get better in-depth knowledge of the players if he's actually there.
Absolutely, but he doesn't. But I think he owes something to Celtic.
So what happens?
Okay.
What happens if Leicester bring in a caretaker manager? He wins all 10 games and they get into Europe, and then you say, "Well, Brendan Rodgers is coming in."
No, because I'm thinking he could have just signed it and like kind of a pre-contract agreement.
Yeah, no, I understand that. Yeah, Brendan Rodgers signs the pre-contract agreement, and
okay.
But the caretaker, let's say, I don't know, Ranieri goes back to Leicester, let's say, and he wins 10 games as caretaker manager, and they get into Europe. Then the fans would be like, "Well, you've got to give Ranieri the job. He's won 10 games back to back and got us into Europe," and they'll be like,
that would make it somewhat unfortunate, but also is on the realms of the
highly unrealistic.
The likely is unrealistic, yeah. But I just think
But it's
kind of like the
at the moment, Brendan Rodgers is wishing he stayed at Celtic because he's 1-0 down to a Troy Deeney goal after like 10 minutes. So. But yeah,
how I feel about Troy Deeney.
Let us know in the comments. What do you guys think? Like, let us know in the comments in the bits below of Spotify, SoundCloud, and YouTube. Let us know. What would you have done? Would you have stayed at Celtic and won probably another treble, or would you have left? So would you done what Josh said, stay at Celtic for another treble, or would you do what I said and get to know your Leicester players for the last 10 games of the season when you're safe and you're probably not getting into Europe anyway? Let me know. Let us know. I think that's a good.
All right.
Yeah, maybe that's another
a good
poll.
question. That is.
Maybe that's another poll.
Okay.
Yeah. So there you go. Let us know.
So we'll finish off the kind of week's news with a little touch upon the Carabao Cup final, and in particular the Kepa incident. So I think we're all aware Kepa there was an attempt to substitute him in the final minutes of extra time to bring on Willy Caballero, the penalty specialist, but Kepa waived his get out of substitutions free card, and Darry played it down as there's a misunderstanding around injury.
Yeah.
But then his reaction on the sidelines was one of someone who, I mean, it reminded me of trying to tell my kids to stop playing with something and they completely ignore me. And I'm like, what can I do? So, yeah, it kind of mixed messaging. And then he obviously got dropped for the Spurs game. Caballero came in, but it could have been John Terry in goal because they had to do absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
But yeah, what are your thoughts? Was Kepa right, wrong? What would you have done?
Kepa's wrong. Kepa's if your manager, if your board goes up, if your name goes up to be substituted or your number goes up to be substituted, you can be as pissed off as you want, but you do it, and you see players do it when they're annoyed to be subbed off. You go off the pitch and then you have a fucking hissy fit.
Yeah, you chuck your shirt against.
You chuck your
seat,
shirt.
yeah.
You kick a bottle. You don't shake the manager's hand, whatever. But he's made that decision. He is your boss. You don't go against him. And I don't like this whole it was a misunderstanding about an injury. Because if it was just a misunderstanding about an injury, fine. Sarri can go ballistic on the touchline. If it is a misunderstanding about injury, he would have played the next game. Because they would have been like, yeah, misunderstanding, whatever. But it was so clearly not, wasn't it? It was, I want to come. You're coming off, so we can bring our penalty specialist on, and it's just, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I would have done in that situation. I've never.
No, I don't think it helped. Like,
managing amateur teams, I've half done that, and I'm going to be doing it here, which we might get onto later. But it's like, even at amateur level, I've never had that issue.
The thing is, playing just even with mates and or just amateur level, even in any sport, and a substitution comes up, if one of your teammates isn't going off quickly or isn't faffing about, you shout at them to get off. So my question then is, David Luiz and Azpilicueta went up to him. What are you doing? Why didn't you get him off? Why? Yeah. What's going on there? Come on.
Yeah, I don't like Azpilicueta, especially as captain, should be being like, look, Kepa, stop being a dick, get off.
Yeah.
Like, the only thing that annoys me, and if I was in Kepa's situation, is that when did Caballero came on for another cup final, didn't he? And
he played in the
yeah, but no, they actually
basically won them.
Yeah, but they subbed him on for a penalty shootout. Someone subbed him on somewhere, I remember, for a penalty shootout, and the manager came out afterwards and said this was already pre-planned and everyone knew it was going to happen. If you're going to do that, if you're going to bring on a goalkeeper for penalties and you've got that sub left, you would have thought that's a discussion they would have had before the game.
Shouldn't be breaking news to him. Yeah,
it shouldn't be a surprise to Kepa that his number comes off or comes up on the subs board. So that's my one possible siding with Kepa in the situation, but I still stick by it. Yeah, if your number's up for a substitution, you have your hissy fit as you come off the pitch. Like, as you can do that thing where the camera's looking at you, so you get a grumpy face on and start swearing under your breath, and then as you get to the sideline and the other guy replaces you, you don't shake the manager's hand, you kick the water bottle, you throw your shirt down, the camera's still looking at you, so you can have a little pout and everything like that. You don't talk to anyone, but yeah, don't do it on the pitch. Don't undermine your manager like that. And it just goes to show it's rife. It's something at Chelsea, isn't it? It's something at Chelsea about player power, because Kepa's been there 8 months.
6, yeah.
Like,
he's already
7 months
displaying that kind of
yeah, exactly.
Behaviour. Yeah.
So I don't know. It's I would back the manager. I would. And that's all I can say, really. I don't know what I would have done in the situation. If a player refuses to come off, I guess they stay on. But
so it'll be intriguing to see what happens to today. Fulham v Chelsea. Does Caballero start? He should do, because he didn't do anything wrong in the match. So keep it going. Don't just drop it, Kepa, for one match. And bring him back. Keep
it's interesting because Caballero got interviewed after the game against who did they play last? Spurs, wasn't it? Yeah. He got interviewed after that, and he was like, I expect Kepa to come back in. And that was Willy Caballero saying that. So I'd agree with you. Yeah, he shouldn't. Caballero kept a clean sheet, didn't do anything wrong, so should keep his place. But yeah, let's see what happens. Player power.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move on, and let's move on to the next section where we have the quiz Kamara of the week, and this one
I don't have a pen. My pen's broken, listeners. My pen's broken, and I normally rely on my pen
Dave
for the
is at
quiz.
hard times. There's only one
Yeah,
pen in Singapore and it's broken.
Yeah.
So this is lifted straight from the BBC. I took part in one of their quizzes and I thought this is a lovely quiz. It's topical because we've mentioned a few transfers to this part of the world, and it's Premier League based. So this, Dave, is 12 ex-Premier League players currently play football in China. How many can you name?
Oh my word! 12 ex-Premier League players currently play in China.
Currently playing in China.
Okay, that's okay, right. Let's think. Tevez isn't there anymore, is he? Yeah, Tevez has moved to Boca, so he's not there anymore.
Yeah.
But I have drawn an absolute blank.
Well, that's a good start to
right.
proceedings. This is going to be... Go on.
Is Paulinho out there still? He went to Barcelona.
Yes, Paulinho's out there.
Okay, one Paulinho. Right, okay. Think, Dave. I just don't really care about Chinese football. So when it's the sort of thing, people have moved out there and you give up. Fernando Torres.
No.
Yeah. Fernando
No.
Torres definitely plays in China.
Well, it's not on their list.
Well, they're wrong then.
Not one of the 12.
They're wrong. I'm googling it right now. Fernando Torres.
Go for it, Dave.
Wikipedia. Currently plays for Sagan Tosu in Japan. Crap. Bollocks.
Whoa, Dave. Accidental racism going on here. Not all alike. Oh, they're different leagues.
Yeah, I know. Bloody hell. I don't know.
I mean, two of them left in the last transfer window. Both midfielders and both one from our respective clubs. So.
Dembele.
Yeah.
And Fellaini.
There you go.
There you go.
Oh, he's rolling now, isn't he?
Bloody hell, right. There's got to be strikers out there. There's got to be strikers.
How many strikers? There's one striker, there's two strikers, three strikers out there. Left.
Okay.
All right, well, we'll leave it there at 3 out of 12. So fantastic so far, Dave. Two of them given to on a plate.
You asked me the question, I was like, I don't know. And then I said someone that plays in Japan. So I'm not going to do well, am I? I'm not going to do well. But
no, you're not going to do well. But they have provided some more generic clues, or more specific clues, should I say, sorry. So we'll be able to see how you fare with those. So, for example, the Moussa Dembele one would have been Belgium midfielder described as the most technically gifted Tottenham player by Jermaine Genius before departing this January. And so that would have been the clue.
Easy.
So
yeah.
We'll be off. Yeah. Oh, well, you didn't get it, Dave. So.
Well, if you give me that clue, I would have got it.
Oh yeah. If I'd spelled it out to you, you'd have.
Yeah, which you did.
Yeah. First name Moussa. Yeah. Second name rhymes with Dembele. Right, let's move on to a review of Saturday's matches and game week 29. Right, we had the North London Derby.
We did have the North London Derby. Well, go take it away, Josh. It's your team.
Take it away, the William Gallas, the Emmanuel Adebayor Derby. It was as bleak as the Chelsea game up until the point where Shokran Mustafi and Koscielny combined to sandwich Harry Kane. So poor game overall. It really didn't get going. Really wasn't the kind of blood and thunder of a North London derby. It was bleak. We conceded an absolutely amateurish goal. We were playing three defenders, yet we managed to let Aaron Ramsey run through on goal after the 15th minute from inside his own half, which after Davinson Sanchez missed his intercepting header. And after that, we created a couple of chances. Shout out to Bern Leno for an absolutely absurdly good save. One of the best saves I've seen in a while.
It was ridiculous.
First one
double
is just,
save was ridiculous. Yeah.
Yeah. Ericsson shot, and then of all people, Mr. Sissoko followed up, and Leno just flicks it over the bar. Fantastic save. Linked to that. Do you know what I learned something about XG today? Is that both chances wouldn't be calculated in XG. I hadn't realised this because if one goes in, the other one doesn't materialise.
Okay.
So, for example,
surely the first one should count in XG then.
Whichever is the higher of the two counts in one of the XG calculations I've been looking at, the Michael Cayley one. So yeah, they both don't count because obviously they can't both be scored. So the same phase of play.
Yeah, but that's... I can understand
So,
that
for
the
example,
second opportunity. But the first
yeah.
opportunity happened, so it's XG, isn't it? It's an expected goal.
Yeah. But you can't count both, is all.
Yeah,
You take the higher of the two.
I thought you were saying you couldn't count either.
No. You just take one of the two. Yeah. So, for example, Aubameyang had his penalty.
Yeah.
And then had the follow-up where which Jan Vertonghen intercepted. Obviously, both can't happen. If he scores a penalty, there's no follow-up, is there?
Yeah, true.
Right, just to clarify, people's answer in case people hadn't realised that about XG.
Okay. So, on the game, quickly, because I assume you watched the whole thing. Now, I couldn't watch it because my parents were here in Singapore and obviously I was spending time with them. I got home and I saw the red card. We'll get onto that in a minute. I then watched the highlights back and it looked like Spurs absolutely dominated the game. Now, I don't know if my highlights were skewed or something like that, but it looked like Aaron Ramsey's goal was completely against their run of play and Spurs were absolutely dominating in it. Now, is that right?
Correct, yes.
Okay.
No, it is right, but dominating without creating anything...
Right, okay.
Much from open play. So we dominated possession because I think Arsenal were happy to play on the counter-attack. And they did so quite successfully. We created chances from set pieces mainly. Not many from open play, apart from Eriksen, Sissoko double whammy. And then, obviously our goal came from what was a set piece, which then got... Kane was fouled. And then obviously scored from a penalty. And I also want to touch on Kane being offside for the penalty because he is not offside for the penalty. All right.
Okay. Right.
I don't know if you've seen this. He looks like he's offside, so he is offside if he was to get the ball. So, but the FA, I've checked this on the FA website. A player in an offside position is moving towards the ball with intention of playing the ball, and then is fouled before playing or attempting to play the ball, or challenging an opponent for the ball. The foul is penalised. It has occurred before the offside offence. So, because he hasn't got to the ball yet, the foul has occurred. He hadn't even had a chance to jump the header. He gets barged in the back by Mustafi, goes into Koscielny. It is a foul because he has not got to the ball to attempt to play it yet. So, he may be in offside position.
However, the offside position, you can argue, is forcing the defenders to run back. So, technically he's interfering with play, Harry Kane. Because his offside position run is forcing defenders to mark him.
Well, absolutely, but the rule states that. The rule says a player in an offside position moving towards the ball, isn't it? It doesn't deny that is a facet of the rule.
Okay, yeah. Okay, interesting. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah. So we have Torreira's red card. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, definite red card. Yeah, it's like the only bit of the game I managed to see live. It definitely looked like a red card. Reckless.
It's a bit. Yeah, he is. He's out of control because you know what he's trying to do, trying to flick the ball away.
Yeah.
But the point in time that he contacts with Rhodes is kind of like knee high. So. Yeah.
I mean,
thankfully it wasn't a loss. So I'd have taken a draw, but it's just really. I mean, our side is lacking any attacking threat, and
everyone in Spurs just looks knackered. Like, everyone attacking in Spurs just looks absolutely exhausted. It looks like Harry Kane's been brought back too early. I know Pochettino said he's a machine, but it looks like he's been brought back too early from injury. From an outsider looking at the game and looking at Spurs over the last week or so, week and a half, it looks like everyone's just absolutely dead on their feet. And they can't do the press. And
because we face Dortmund on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Obviously, I had taken a 3-goal lead into that. Just please, personally, what I'd do for that game probably isn't what many managers do. I'd go gung ho to get a goal because you score that goal, Dortmund are not going to score 5 against us.
Yeah.
You just get that goal. But yeah, then we play Southampton on Saturday. Then we don't play until the end of March. We have a 3-week break.
Is it international week though?
No, it's because of the FA Cup and because of things fixtures can't be rearranged. Okay. So we do have a break. So just eke this out and recoup. Get a result again. Get a win against Southampton, and who cares? A 2-0 loss against Dortmund, and just see this out and just recoup.
Yeah.
Because I do not want this top 4 sliding away.
Okay. Yeah.
All right.
Fair enough. Shout out to Hugo Lloris. Good save. Good penalty save.
Yeah,
People
check
say-
him out making penalty saves.
Yeah, people say it's a poor penalty, but I think any save in a penalty is a good save. So
Yeah. Also, a shout out to Yang Vertonghen for.
the block.
Yeah, but for cheating basically, because it's one of those rules. If there's a rule, you enforce it. He
Oh, yeah.
encroached massively in the penalty area. It's like, well, the amount of times you see it and it's never enforced, or sometimes it's enforced. It's like, well, either have it as a rule or don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right, so we'll move on to AFC Bournemouth versus Manchester City, and I imagine this is quite nerve-wracking for Man City because it was only one goal in it. But let me just tell you these stats. So the XG for Bournemouth. Do you want to have a guess what the XG was?
0.2.
0.0 because they had no shots on or off target.
Oh wow.
They had
okay.
18% possession, and this is one with
1-8. They had 1-8. 18. 1-8.
18%, yeah, and they only managed 13 passes into Man City's final third. They got complete. It's such a ridiculous performance from Man City. How they didn't capitalise and score more is just beyond me, because that is fantastic, kind of attacking as the best form of defence. They just completely obliterated them.
Yeah. Bloody hell. Wow. I guess the big news from the game though is De Bruyne, isn't it?
Yeah,
Injured
it's
again.
such a shame. Such a bit part season for him. He's obviously had missed a lot of the start, and then came back. Hasn't really done much since he's been back. He's scored a couple, created a couple, but not when you saw him week in, week out last year playing those through balls to Sane and scoring goals. It's not been his season, and I think it comes down to fatigue. It's a big season for him. He had a long World Cup, and then he's just not being able to get back at it.
Yeah. It's a shame as well, because he's such a good player. Even as a rival fan,
he's one of the best, isn't he?
Yeah, you want to see him play. So, but yeah.
Shout out to Zinchenko though. He's starting to make a little case for himself being in the starting 11. He's playing left back, where he's kind of a midfielder really, but he's been doing well and helped set up the goal for what you've got to put down as one of the signings of the season, or kind of one of the best performing signings of the season. Riyad Mahrez. He's kept scoring, he's kept assisting, and you don't often do that when you when a player signs new for a club. He's made a step up to a bigger, better club, and he's performing.
And he's doing it mainly from the bench as well, which is great, because he's trying. You can see he's trying to make the effort and show Guardiola, you can rely on me, sort of thing, which is good. I mean, I questioned the move when he moved there, but it does seem to be a very good move for him and the club, I guess, which is very nice.
Excellent. All right, City obviously top at the moment, with Liverpool set to play Everton today, which will be a lovely match to watch. I do love. It's one of my favourite times of the week, actually. Just to let you in my life here. I love about 4 o'clock on a Sunday. I loved it more when I didn't have to do the cooking, but 4 o'clock on a Sunday, when you can be watching the football and you know there's going to be a roast dinner on the table afterwards, it's just bliss.
Yeah.
So
nice.
that Everton Liverpool match really should be hopefully a fantastic match, and see how that goes. See if Marco Silva can upset
I was going to say,
it.
Isn't it the game that you predicted Marco Silva to lose his job, and you've been pretty good with predictions? I know they ended up beating Cardiff, but yeah.
Yeah, I think he's going to go a little bit more now after getting that Cardiff win, unless something horrific happens and he gets completely and utterly smashed. He's got a little bit more time now.
Okay, all right then. So next up then, Brighton v Huddersfield.
Yes, and Huddersfield obviously happy after midweek securing a win against Wolves.
Yeah.
I mean, I think have they also beaten Wolves already once a season, or at least drawn? I don't think they've lost to Wolves. It's just,
I think it's 34% of Huddersfield's points this season have come from Wolves.
Wow, they're like the Newcastle of Derby's season, when Newcastle didn't beat Derby that season.
Yeah.
But Huddersfield now be happy that they've surpassed Derby's points tally, so they can enjoy the rest of the season. They're done. But yeah, Brighton left it late, and Done about kind of 79th, 80th minute, and you can see relief on all the players and manager's faces.
Matt Ryan legged it from his goal, didn't he, to go and celebrate with the players?
Yeah.
It's huge relief for them, you can see, and it
Huge
pushed
relief,
them above Burnley, didn't it? So
Yeah, and they've got a game in hand, and they're 5 points ahead of Cardiff, who are in 18th. So, yeah, it's looking good for them. It's looking very positive. It's just I always prefer to have points on the board and games in hand, though.
Yeah, true. Always get the points on the board if you can. So, interestingly, I didn't realise Huddersfield are only 3 points off Fulham. Fulham could spend all that money. Yeah, but Fulham could spend all that money and finish bottom. That's embarrassing, isn't it? That's really embarrassing.
It is embarrassing.
So
you wonder what kind of wholesale sales they're going to have this summer.
Yeah.
If they're going to, unless they're going to just really double down and sort that defence out and come.
Yeah, true. I can remember when we did the podcast for the beginning of the season, you had a percentage thing of the amount of players that played last season, the percentage of time,
the turnover,
and you said Fulham was one of the lowest for retaining players.
Yeah, absolutely. They really had just gone all out and changed so much of their squad.
Yeah. Interesting. So,
and it shows it doesn't help, does it?
No, it definitely doesn't. Next up, Burnley Crystal Palace. Roy Hodgson showing he can still do it as a manager.
Yeah, and Burnley obviously after beating Spurs last weekend have now turned in two comprehensive defeats, haven't they? So that makes me really annoyed. Midweek they really got kind of stunned by Newcastle, but yesterday's game they actually created a fair amount of chances. Just that Palace's finishing was a lot better. I mean, Bardsley, lovely finish, turning into his own net. But Batshuayi's finish was just in a flash, bang in the goal. That is so really good.
He's a good
really
signing.
Nice
he's looking like a good signing for Palace. He looks sort of like the sort of cog, that they were missing from the team, and he's taking a bit of. It feels like when I watch them play, it feels like he's taking a bit of pressure off Zaha in the fact that Batshuayi will do some running for him.
And actually will score a goal, and so I mean, Palace with a striker look a lot more dangerous because you got another outlet for the goals. You know it can come from somewhere else. So there's a lot of good work that their wingers can do. But if you've got someone who can finish, it makes it all that more positive. So they're doing well. And then obviously Zaha finished off with another absolutely fired home finish. I mean, straight down the middle of a goal, this one, which isn't great for Tom Heaton, but with Gareth Southgate watching. Palace doing well again. They're Roy Hodgson is a very good manager. Didn't work out from Liverpool, obviously, but now Palace are on 33 points, 8 points clear, 9 games to go. It's pretty much, I'd say, they're pretty safe at that point.
It's looking good for them. I mean, 3 points off 10th. That's ridiculous if you think about all the troubles they've had previously with managers and changing managers and finances and issues like that. But they're doing really, really well. So
and obviously they can enjoy the quarterfinals of the FA Cup to come up, don't they?
Yeah, very true. Very true.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. We'll move on to United versus Southampton. So,
what a game!
Take it away, Dave.
What a game! I stayed up and I watched it. My parents had gone to bed, so I watched it on my iPad and. Lovely game. I mean, it was a game
goals.
Game of great goals sort of thing. Valerie, who's looked good at right back for Southampton, an absolute thunderbolt. I was watching it and I was like, "There's no way David De Gea should be beating it as near post." And then you watched how quick the ball moved in slow motion, and it was like, that's a great finish. That's an absolutely wonderful finish. So went in 1-0 down, which was Lukaku. I think I texted you saying. Lukaku was doing his best Emil Heskey impression, and that was about half time. I think I texted you that, and he was pretty shocking in the first half. Missed a couple of chances, sort of scuffing at things with his left foot, and him and Rashford got in each other's way at certain points where it sort of looked like they didn't know which one was meant to be playing as the main striker and which one was meant to be on the wing. But the second half, I think Solskjaer, he obviously spoke to them, and Mike Phelan, Solskjaer, the backroom staff, obviously spoke to them at half time. They look a lot more fluid up front, but without people getting in each other's way. And then Andreas Pereira scores a truly wonderful curling effort. I was shouting at the iPad for him to lay in Luke Shaw, who was in absolute acres.
I was about to say, I bet you weren't shouting him for him to shoot.
No, definitely wasn't. No, I was definitely shouting for him to lay in Luke Shaw on the left, but it was just it's one of those where it looked like he took too many touches, but what a finish! What a finish! I love a nice curling shot into the corner. I did prefer Valerie's goal, if I'm being honest. I love a thunder bastard of a strike, but yeah, and then it sort of. The game sort of just ebbed and flowed both directions. It was really good, like they say, a really good advert for the Premier League. Ward-Prowse scoring a good free kick as well, wonderful free kick. Lukaku put us 2-1 up first. A lovely finish on his right foot, so I swear he's becoming right-footed now. He did well with that one. Ward-Prowse curls in a nice free kick past David De Gea. Really good effort. He's known for his set pieces anyway, so which is good. And then Lukaku wins it in the 88th minute. Again with a well taken goal, and Pogba then misses a penalty, which is more annoying because he's in my fantasy team and he would have got me points as a goal scoring midfielder. But yeah, a truly wonderful game to stay up and watch, because normally when I stay up and watch a game and it finishes at 1:30 in the morning, it's 0-0 and it's rubbish, or my team lose.
I know. I always hate it because
have I done that?
Yeah, I've got a young family, so if it's a kind of midday kickoff, I normally have to kind of go, Andrew, my wife, is it all right if I kind of watch this? And I feel like if I'm making the effort, I'm pretty sure it's going to be a poor. It was before Christmas. It was a North London derby. I think decorations were being put up. I was like, can we just pause for a bit and I can watch this North London derby? We lose. I think we're taking them down. We had lost to Chelsea, and then yesterday I was like, "Can I watch this?" And it's like, "Oh, for God's sakes!" It's just really. I fear making any special arrangements for a match because I feel like it's just going to be a waste.
The one thing I will say about this game is how, again, I don't know if this was on. It wouldn't have been on in the UK, was it? 'Cause it was a 3:00 kickoff, but it was so daunting how different the team was when Sanchez went off. For Sanchez to go off and be replaced by a 19-year-old fullback as a winger, and him to change and him to have so much more involvement straight from coming on, that is what I think has put the nail in Sanchez's coffin, as it were, at Man United, because it's so obvious it's not working for him.
What do you reckon awaits? China awaits? MLS awaits?
No,
what do you reckon?
I think
top flight still?
Italy. Yeah, I think Serie A in Italy. I think he'll go back
to Udinese or something.
Yeah, I think a bigger team than that might take a punt on him. Maybe Juventus, depending what happens with Dybala. But it's. I don't know. I think it's just not working, and I think we're gonna sort of wipe our hands with it and say, we tried.
Have to take the loss and just move on,
the loss. It was a Mourinho era. That's the other thing. You can blame it on Mourinho's not there anymore, isn't it? So you can just blame it on Mourinho wanted him, sort of thing. And
just linked to that, another Mourinho signing, Fred. Obviously, played yesterday for a bit. He got an assist. And is he?
I think he just needs a bit more time. I think Fred needs to figure out, or Fred or the management needs to figure out what sort of midfielder they want Fred to be. Yeah, so like Herrera, everyone knows what Herrera wants to do. Everyone knows that Pogba wants to attack. Everyone knows that Pereira wants to be a sort of playmaker, and no one really knows which one of those roles Fred wants to do. And I think Fred's trying to do all of them. Yeah. So it's I just think he needs more time. I think he'll be I was going to say a very good player, but I think he'll be a very good squad player. I never think he'll be sort of like a bit more technical Fellaini in the sense that he'll be used in the squad rotation sort of system rather than be a standout starting central midfielder for us. So,
all right. But what do you think? Your thoughts on Ryan Bertrand and his attempt GBH with Lukaku?
If Lukaku goes down, it's a red card.
Yeah. He's fortunate that Lukaku's an absolute beast man, because I mean, he goes in like a train and gets absolutely just kind of and hits him and gets sorted off like a fly. Joe Rules did something similar to Lucas for Cardiff versus Spurs this season, got sent off. Yeah. And this is a red card for me. It reminded me of, you remember when Jack Wilshere went in to headbutt Fellaini, and Fellaini's there like, I think you can see him and it.
Yeah.
What the fuck is going on? He's so lucky that Lukaku is big and can brush it off.
It's one of those. If that's done on the first name that comes to mind is supposed to be Neymar, but if that's done on like a Neymar, he's rolling around all over the place.
Neymar's still rolling now. Yeah.
I mean, it was. it was it's one of those. If the game finishes at a draw or Southampton nick a winner, I think a lot more is made of it. But
Yeah.
there's no need to make a fuss out of it because Lukaku wasn't hurt. Man United won the game. Bertrand didn't end up getting sent off, although he then got a warning later on in the game, I think, for time wasting when Southampton had scored their equaliser. He got 2 warnings for time wasting. I was like, that's... If you give him 1 warning, then you book him if he does it again. And you send him off for that. I mean, you don't keep giving people another chance just because they're on a yellow card. But, yeah, horrendous. I would have said there would be no arguments if he had waited till the ball gone out of play and then sent him off. But I think you have to stop the game straight away to send them off. I don't think you can do a...
Oh, really?
I don't think you can do a delayed red card. I think.
Okay. All right. So that puts United up there
4th.
in contention now. You're in 4th now, 3 points behind Spurs, and so all to play for.
Oh wow, 13 points off Man City. Let's aim big. Aim big or go home.
Keep going.
But yeah, a very good result. I did it the hard way, but it was that's what being at Old Trafford's meant to do to you, isn't it? You're meant to just go and enjoy the game.
Absolutely.
It's attacking, it's entertaining. Long may it continue.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. Wolves Cardiff, and probably my favourite goal of the weekend actually. Diogo Jota's
The one-touch
goal.
passing.
Lovely one-touch passing, lovely goal. And
Beautiful.
I mean, it is against Cardiff. We discussed recent weeks they can't defend, but absolutely lovely, incisive play, and Wolves are well worth their lead. And then Raul Jimenez, who gets his 11th of the season, and I think he is. I've checked this. He is the joint top scorer when you exclude the top 6 sides. So normally you have someone doing a bit better than this, but he's him with Gylfi Sigurdsson. They've scored 11 goals, and
well, it shouldn't be too surprising, according that Wolves are 7th, and you'd imagine their striker would get a number of goals.
True,
for
but
them.
I think there was a lot of talk earlier in the season or at the start of the season. They needed a striker who could score goals.
I think no matter how many goals he scores this year, he is the one player in that team whose place is under threat, no matter how well he does.
Well, he's on loan currently.
Oh, but they've got an option to buy him, I think, haven't they?
Yeah, for 38 mil. So my question to you is going to be: do you exercise that that purchase, or do you think you can do better?
It depends how much money the board are willing to put in the summer. I wouldn't want to pay 38 million for him and he be the only striker I have, sort of thing.
Yeah.
But 38 million doesn't buy you very much in football anymore, does it? So
it doesn't. No. And you look at the
if he gets
players around.
Yeah. If he gets you 15 goals in the Premier League in his first season in the Premier League, then you'd probably exercise it because he's got you 15 goals and you've finished 7th, and you're in Europe.
Especially as if you're confident with your manager. Side of there, you can continue to play the same way. Whether people adapt to Wolves slightly differently and they get less space because it seems to take other sides a long time to adapt to other teams. Much like when Leicester won the league, it took them. Well, no one ever adapted to their style of play, did they? But I think it'd be brave not to take up the option, because by signing any striker by no means guarantees goals. So deciding not on Jimenez is brave because you've got someone there, and people always go, "Well, Jimenez scored X amount of goals last season. Why didn't we just sign him?"
Exactly. I agree with that.
Not doing it.
I agree with that. One thing I'd say about this game very quickly before we move on is Adama Traore. Is he anything else other than very quick and strong? Because
no.
he is woeful.
His career is based on managers hoping they can change him.
Yeah. Sorry, I just had to say it because I knew he was awful. I also feel like Wolves v Cardiff should be some sort of derby. I'm surprised you haven't named it as. There must be a player that's.
Oh, Wolves Cardiff. No, I hadn't given it any thought.
Okay.
Wolves Cardiff. No. Yeah. Let me know. It's not actually. I don't have any online resource to kind of go. I think there should be a website where you can go a player who has played for.
Name that derby.
2 clubs in. To put 2 clubs in and go players who played for both.
Yeah.
And also, I'd like one which would tell me how many times players have played for or played with and played against certain players. So, like, how many times did John Terry and Ashley Cole line up together? How many times did John Terry face Cristiano Ronaldo? That kind of stats. That would be quite nice as well.
Okay, yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Well,
so if anyone wants to set up some websites,
someone get on it, yeah. And moving on, we'll move on to the Denver Bar Derby.
Yes,
beat you to it.
Well done. Yeah. There's also will be a bit of the other week's WIKI file Lee Bowyer hasn't he turned up both?
Yeah, the Lee Bowyer Derby. Yeah.
That is
not last week,
well
Josh, because your WIKI file was last week.
All right.
You got it wrong, didn't you? You messed it up. So
yes, some bellends didn't adhere to the rules.
But yeah, anyway, West Ham Newcastle. Yeah, a good win for West Ham.
Declan Rice, bang, shocking celebration. It was little dance from a song, and then Mark Noble, ever reliable from a spot, and but West Ham will be happy. Newcastle won't really mind, because I think Newcastle feel like they've kind of they're as safe as others now. I think they've got enough about them to keep themselves safe, and it's another outstanding work from Rafa Benitez. It
is. Have you heard the news about who they're lining up to take over if Benitez leaves or moves clubs at the end of the season?
Is it Alan Pardew?
He's
still got some time left on that contract.
It's not Alan Pardew. Michael Carrick is apparently who they're lining up to take over the management job at Newcastle.
He must be cheaper.
I imagine so. Yeah.
Yeah. But shout out to his a player who reminds me of Michael Carrick is it Shane Longstaff, who is almost like an accidental midfield hero for them, because he didn't seem to be getting a game time. Never seemed like he was going to get game time, and then he suddenly was thrust in because of injuries. And you just wonder how many other players how many young players could do a job, but clubs just don't trust them. And it's only when needs must that they come into the side. I mean, it reminds me of when Spurs played AC Milan in the Champions League many years back now, but we were forced to use Harry Redknapp was forced to use Sandro, who hadn't played at that time, and he actually turns out a fantastic performance, and then becomes a regular. It's like, I think players sometimes just need to be given that opportunity. And
I agree, because another one you can argue that with is Declan Rice, and that leads me on to a question for you, Joshua Cole.
Yeah,
where is Declan Rice playing his football next season?
I would hope he. Well, I was about to say I hope he plays for Man City, because I want him to make a step up. But I think he should stay at West Ham for a few years. He's young. Okay. He's still learning. I don't want this to be the next Jack Wadwell.
All right, Roy.
There's far too many examples of English players at Man City having a torrid time of their career.
Yeah, very true.
So I think he needs to make that step up, but I think he can easily stay there for another few years.
Okay, excellent. Well, that's our review has gone on for a little bit longer than we would have thought, and I think we're eating into our time. But it is that time of the week again, Josh. I got a wiki file. You got a wiki file. Here comes a wiki file for you. Hey, I've sent you something. Say what you see. You
sent me something. I'll say what I see. I see a player who I think will be Italian. So they start off in 1999. 8 years they are at Prato. They spend a few seasons out on loan at Empoli, Fucecchio, Fiorentina. But yeah, they turn out for 59 games for Prato, scoring 18 goals. But they make a move to Albino Leffe in 2004-2006 for 26 games. Nothing much going there, because it seems like the later goal scoring statistics make it seem they're a striker, because then they moved to Livorno for a couple of years for 59 games, 17 goals. When we get a Premier League move, we have 28 appearances in the Premier League for West Ham, scoring 7 goals. We then have a move back to Italy. Didn't like England. Went back to Italy for Brescia. 32 games, 6 goals. And then we have a nice stint here, their longest stint at a club, Bologna, for 83 games, 19 goals. But then the lure of the money all got too much, and they thought, I'm going to China for Guangzhou Evergrande. 24 games, 4 goals. Didn't go well. So I had a few loans You loaned back to Fiorentina for 11 games, 2 goals. To Watford for 3 games, no goals. To Atlanta, 16 games, 1 goal. But then makes a permanent move back and lingers around Italy again. Palermo, Perugia, Livorno. Again, scoring very infrequently. And not really getting... The journeyman, isn't he? He's gone for a lot of clubs here. A few he's gone to Livorno a couple of times.
Just to clear it up, because you made a knob of yourself last week, West Ham and Watford were both in the Premier League, so his total Premier League appearances is 31.
So you literally have put him right on the cusp.
Yeah.
This is a good find. Okay.
And also, another question I would be asking the Palermo board is, what on earth did they think they saw in his spell at Evergrande and then his subsequent loan moves that thought they should have bought him permanently?
Maybe anyway. Good character.
Yeah, maybe.
Good character. Okay, so I'm going to guess at Italian, which I think is a fair guess.
That is a fair guess. He is Italian.
But what I'm not 100% sure on, I think they're going to be a striker, because I mean their Bologna stint is kind of a goal every 4 games. The Livorno stint is a goal every 3 games, which is quite good for a midfielder, maybe an attacking midfielder at worst.
So he was signed for West Ham as a striker, but is now listed on Wikipedia as an attacking midfielder. So you're correct.
Okay. All right. Okay. And I actually do not have anyone in mind at the moment.
Do you want his international stats?
Yes, please.
They are coming your way right now. He actually has some, which is really even weirder.
Okay, so we have his international stats. We have 17 appearances, 1 goal for Italy. And that is, again, bleak. This man is kind of stealing a living being an attacking player. It's not good. So I'm trying to think of Italians who played for West Ham. So we obviously have Paolo Di Canio, which is not going to be the case because Paolo Di Canio has other Premier League experience.
Yep.
We have who's that left-footed one? Marco Borriello.
Right.
But I think Marco Borriello had a bit more of a stint at maybe he had a stint at AC Milan. We've had okay, I think this might be it. So I can see why teams took a chance on this guy now, actually.
Right.
So he was actually he was a bit of a free kick specialist, I think. He looked like he looked a good. Is this him?
I can't remember being a free kick specialist, but then I don't know too much about him. So.
Okay, so I think this is. I've got 2 in my head. Is David Di Michele, Alessandro Diamante, and Diamante is the one I've gone for because I think David Di Michele has got other clubs in Italy, but I can't remember who on earth Diamante played for in Italy. But Diamante, I think, had a nice left foot on him. Yeah, but he looked like he had very good technique, but never really scored goals. Is it Alessandro Diamante?
It is Alessandro Diamante. It is
Alessandro Diamante.
It is the runner-up of Hammer of the Year in 2009-2010.
Was he? Oh,
yeah. He was
the
runner-up
for the CV
behind current Fulham manager Scott Parker.
Oh,
yeah, there you go.
And let me just check. I'm just checking. He's actually still playing. He's still at Livorno. Yeah, how old is he now?
He's 35.
35.
Yeah, he is playing at Livorno in Serie A. No, Serie B. Are they Serie A or Serie B? Livorno. I don't. Serie B. Currently in Serie B.
Serie B, yeah.
Livorno. Yeah. So nickname the Mullets.
He had some unique. Yeah. Do you know what? He had a unique hairdo. I was about to say.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
He did Diamante. So no wonder he's found himself there.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Alessandro Diamante. I'm glad that I at least stumped you for a little while with my wiki file.
Yeah, I had to pull on my old Italian West Ham knowledge there.
Yeah, you had quite a few. The guy, who was the other guy you said? Di Natale?
No, David Di Michele.
David Di Michele. He played for Udinese, which was missing off Diamante's list. Yeah. So, yeah, there we go then.
Yeah. Well done, Dave. That was a good one. He stuck to the rules, and just that is the a loan spell to Watford brought his tally up. That is a fantastic find. But well done, Dave.
Thank you. Well, you got it right, so well done you. Pats on the backs all round.
Thank you. Oh,
So,
yeah, let's just have a
loving.
circle jerk. Yeah.
Okay. I went for a bit of a more PC way of saying it. Family friendly. Circle jerk.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Put that explicit on the old Spotify.
Is it a circle if it's two people? Isn't it just mutual masturbation? It's not a circle, is it? Well, I guess. Depends where you're standing.
No, stop. Right,
Brilliant.
we'll move on to our poll that we've put out this week. And
Yes.
Dave, do you want to take this away?
Yeah, it's an ongoing poll. So if you're listening to this, if you listen to this as soon as it comes out, you've got around about 10 hours left to vote. And if you don't vote in those 10 hours, then you've missed your chance. But with the top 4 standing as it is, and results being a bit interesting to make the top 4 challenge a bit closer, I asked, with the race for the top 4 getting ever closer, which 2 teams will get those coveted Champions League positions? With the options being Spurs and United, Spurs and Arsenal, Spurs and Chelsea, or Arsenal and United. At the moment, leading the poll is Spurs and United. So that's what people think are going to happen with the top 4, Spurs and United. Nobody thinks it's going to be both North London clubs, Spurs and Arsenal. That's still on 0%. And then we've got a dead heat for second place, 22% each, Spurs and Chelsea, and Arsenal and United. So, yeah, we had one comment left with it so far, which was from Shiv, who, with a great gif of some bottles dancing around, said, Spurs shall do what Spurs do best. Hence the bottle job. And he obviously voted for Arsenal and United to get the 3rd and 4th spots. Thoughts, Josh?
Yeah, obviously there are some options off this, because it obviously could be United Chelsea or Arsenal Chelsea, but I think we're taking this point in time where Spurs are on their lowest ebb, so I think of it like a slinky. Okay, so the gap's been closed because Spurs are on their worst run of form, but then it will just extend again as we pick back up in the coming weeks. I am still confident Spurs will get it, because I think Arsenal and Chelsea are in more disarray than we are. So I think it'll be Spurs United's my thoughts.
I would agree. Spurs United would be my thoughts as well. That's what I voted for on the board, but on the poll. But yeah, you can still have your say if you listen to this as it comes out. Why not? Why not go and have a little vote during the football on Sunday? Get in there and have a.
And as you know, after our vote last week, where Puel came out as top of the next manager to be sacked, we know that this will actually happen. So keep your votes coming for Spurs United, because that will make it happen. That will make it fact. And
breaking news, Josh.
Kepa's in goal.
Yeah, Willy Caballero has been dropped. So Kepa's in goal.
Oh dear! Wow, how strong a character are you, Mauricio Sarri? You taught him 1 week's wages and 1 game out.
Yeah,
pathetic.
Exactly. So, Josh, we need to carry on, and it's quiz time.
It's quiz time, right? So I asked Dave, 12 ex-Premier League players currently play in China. How many of those can you name? And David named
1.
Stumbling through, he'd named 3. He'd named 2 ex-Spurs players and 1 ex-United player. He'd named Paulinho, Mustembele, and Marouane Fellaini. He still has 9 to get. How many of those 9 have you named, Dave?
I think I've got 2 more.
Oh, wow.
Possibly a 3rd, but
Okay.
I think because I mentioned it on a pod not too long ago. I'm going to go for the one I'm not too sure about first, which is John Obi Mikel, because I think I mentioned on the pod that he had moved out to China.
No, then he moved back. He's playing now. I think.
Oh yeah, bollocks. That's why I mentioned it in the pod. Okay, that was the one I wasn't too sure about. So great. Graziano Pella from Southampton.
Yes.
Okay.
Scored 23 goals in 68 appearances for Southampton.
Yeah, and it was quite a lot of money, if I remember rightly, because everyone was
he was a big signing,
Yeah.
Very good looking man as well.
Yeah, it was, yeah. Scott was devastated when they sold him, wasn't he? So,
they were, yeah.
The next one was a very big money signing, and everyone was sort of like, whoa, he's not worth that much. Oscar from Chelsea. And I know that's correct.
Yes.
And then I literally ran out of options, and I have no other names.
Okay, so you've got another Brazilian ex-Chelsea midfielder that you can name. Best remembered, he had a lovely chip on a counter-attack against Barcelona. One name. All action, kind of like a poor man's N'Golo Kante.
No, it's not coming to me.
Ramirez plays out in.
Ramirez.
It's been a while actually, hasn't? So a few Brazilians. So we've got another Brazilian used to play for Chelsea on loan. Was going to be like a wonder kid, but has had injuries and failed career basically. He formerly of AC Milan and Chelsea, now plays out in China.
Nope.
Alexander Pato.
Oh yeah. Oh God, I even forgot that he actually played for Chelsea. That he had a loan spell there.
Yeah. This one was an Argentine stalwart who represented West Ham, Liverpool, and Barcelona.
Oh, Mascherano. Yeah, he was out there.
Mascherano.
Yes.
This player, I think, Troy Deeney set up an absurd amount for Watford up front. A good strike partnership when they got promoted. Nigerian and Watford striker. Won the Premier League Player of the Month award in December 2015.
Igalo.
Okay. Now, I've left the last three to the end because they are... these are the three that I didn't get in the quiz.
Okay.
And so we have a Hull winger whose sister plays for Juventus.
Oh, Aluko?
Yes, Sonny Aluko. We have I think he is of African descent, but maybe also French, a defensive midfielder who but picked up 10 bookings and 1 red card in his first season.
No, not going to get that.
Stefan
Mbia?
Yeah, Stefan Mbia.
Okay.
You remember he played for Marseille and Sevilla?
Yeah.
And then the final one, this is, I mean, if anyone gets this is fantastic. So, forgettable defender, I mean, it's already a good start. Forgettable defender who made 3 league appearances for Liverpool in 2006, called to Boca Juniors.
Sebastian Coates. No, he's playing at Sporting Lisbon.
What is he up to these days?
He's playing at Sporting Lisbon.
Is
I knew that, yeah.
I see. Gabriel Paletta.
Oh, Paletta. Yeah, he was meant to be really good. He was really highly rated when Liverpool bought him, yeah.
Yeah. Well, when you buy a young Argentine defender, everybody thinks they're going to be good. But, yeah. 12 out there and not exactly pulling. Have you ever watched any Chinese football? Have you ever watched any of the...
yeah, I did.
Chinese
I watched a game when Sven-Goran Eriksson managed out there. It was a big derby. Tevez, I think it was Tevez's debut. I think when he moved out there. It was uneventful. Wow. I can't really remember it. It was a couple of years ago. I haven't watched anything recently, so
never indulged. Personally.
No, it's not like the MLS. I watch occasionally. Like, still watch it occasionally now. But as you remember, like I used to watch it quite a lot at university and talk about it. So yeah, Chinese football I've never really. No, it's never really interested me like most foreign football has. So.
No, it just doesn't. I mean, other foreign football which I've been drawn to has been those kind of organic leagues. And, you got the history of when watching Football Italia on Channel 4 when I was younger, and the Liga in my teens when it was kind of Cliver and Rivaldo.
Yeah.
A bit of League just because of the Lyon days when they were outstanding.
Juninho Pernambucano. That's the only reason I watched
Juninho
Liga.
Pernambucano, yeah, and not Philippe Anson. Oh God, Sonny Anderson.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, those kind of artificially constructed leagues don't really do much for my.
I know why I don't watch.
Appeal.
One of the reasons I don't watch Chinese football or Chinese Super League, because in Football Manager I once set up. I wanted to go and play in China because they had loads of money, and I thought it would be a fun little save to do. And one of the rules is you have to have a Chinese goalkeeper. And
what?
I thought that's stupid, isn't it? Because what good's that doing? Yeah, you've got to have a Chinese goalkeeper. I remember it now. Which is why no big goalkeepers moved to China in their later years.
That's interesting.
Yeah. It was definitely a rule. It was definitely a rule, like either last year or a couple of years ago when I was playing it on Football Manager. Whether it's still there now, I don't know. But it was definitely a rule previously. So.
Oh, you learn something every day is a school day. Well done.
There you go. Cool. I think that wraps us up. I think it was a good quiz.
I think it wraps us right up. Yeah.
Congratulations, BBC. It was a good quiz. I'm not going to give Josh any credit.
For that quiz. No. Direct rip-off.
Yeah, so I guess we'll end it as we started, Josh. Tell the listeners where they can find us.
you can now find us on Spotify. We'll tweet out the link. We'll add it to the YouTube link where you can obviously find us. And yeah, happy listening. You can obviously find us on Twitter if you don't already know, at Football Talk. But remember,
there's no A in football.
Correct. Fantastic.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for listening once again, everybody. Please do leave your comments down below for the questions we've asked, and we'll be catching up with you again next week. But for now, we're out. Cheers.